Hi everyone, welcome to our YouTube channel Online Study for You, one-step solution for all your placement needs. So first of all, welcome to our channel. If you haven't subscribed our channel till now, make sure to subscribe. This channel is going to be very helpful for you for your placement preparation. As you know that our team, we are continuously putting efforts to provide quality content to you that will be helpful for your placement preparation. So I'm hoping that your preparation for TCS interview is going good. Well, even now I'm getting doubts from the students regarding the selection mail that they have got. So guys, let me tell you, they are asking like if I have got the selection mail even though I'm not batched yet. So see, if you have got the selection mail, the shortlisting mail for the technical interview, definitely you are going to attend a technical interview. Batch status take time. Sometimes it will take 10 to 12 days, 15 days, 1 month even. I have already told you the process can take even 1 month. So you have to keep patience, you have to wait for it. But 100% your interview is going to happen. If you have got that congratulations mail for the interview, so when it will be scheduled, see, you will be getting the scheduling mail 1 or 2 days before your technical interview, right? So that's why don't expect that today, like just in few days they'll be letting you know about your interview. So when it will be the schedule, they will sending you mail regarding the technical interview. So I hope that I have cleared your doubt now. Well, in this video, what we're going to do is we are going to discuss the expected DBMS interview questions for the TCS exam, and not just for TCS, I should say, for any company, right? For whichever company you are going to appear for the interview purpose, these DBMS questions will be helpful, and these sort of questions are mainly asked in the interview. So that's why we are here with this video for you. So without any delay, let's get started. Here's our first question. What are the advantages of DBMS over file-based system? So you know that the traditional file system that we were having, so why do we prefer DBMS over that? What are the advantages? So these kind of question can be asked you from the interview, because this is a basic question and most probably you should be aware of this, right? So the first and the most important thing is it is going to DBMS eliminates data redundancy and inconsistency which was present in the case of file based system. So you can see DBMS eliminates data redundancy and inconsistency. There was sort of difficulty in accessing data when we are talking about file based system. So there is kind of difficulty in accessing data which has been eliminated by DBMS. So by using DBMS you can easily access your data. Data isolation is provided, right? Data isolation is provided in DBMS. Data isolation is supported or is provided in DBMS. Integrity problems were there in file-based system, which has been resolved by DBMS. Atomicity of updates has been provided by DBMS, which wasn't present in case of file-based system. Concurrent access. So when we talk about file-based system, so there can be inconsistency when there is concurrent access by multiple users, whereas this thing has been taken care of in case of DBMS. Also, DBMS provides security which was not present in case of file-based system. So security problems were there in case of file-based system, which isn't present in case of DBMS, right? So certain measures has been taken regarding the security of the data that has been stored in the database. So these are some points that you can take and you can explain at the interview, right? During the time of your interview, these points you can take and you can explain your answer. See, you don't have to be very, it's not like कि आपको directly same यही points बोलना है. आप कुछ ऊपर नीचे कर सकते हो, एक दो point miss भी कर सकते हो, like, but some important points like is these are very important. Let me tell you that data redundancy and inconsistency, concurrent access by problems, data isolation. So these points are very important, that is must to include. So now let's see our next question. Now again a very basic question, that what do you actually understand by the term DBMS? है क्या DBMS? What do you understand by it? So you can start with the full form of DBMS, that it basically stands for database management system. Now it is what? It is a software, or you can say it is a set of programs that enables. Why do you use DBMS? Just think about it and accordingly make your definition. It's not you have to do any kind of retina of definition. It's not what you have to do. Okay, you can make your own definition according to the functionality of that particular thing. This is what I do. It's not like you have to go through the specific definition which is given over the websites or in the book, right? So here you can see what is mentioned, that it is a set of programs that enable users to create and maintain a database. Now, by using this, what you can do, what functionality you can perform. So it basically provides you an interface for performing different operations like as insertion, deletion, updation, etc. into a database. So you can add some more points as well, or you can be that much specific. Itself depends on you. Okay. So this is what you can explain when you have been asked about the DBMS explanation. What is meant by a database? This is DBMS. It's about a software. Now, what is database? What do you understand by the term database? Let me know in the comment section that what is database. What do you understand? It's not you have to do some copy paste from somewhere. अभी तक आपने क्या समझा डेटाबेस के बारे में? Obviously, database should be one of your subjects if you are from CSIT or if from any other branch as well. If you must be having sort of understanding about this term. So let me know in the comment section that what do you understand by database. Okay, acid properties are must to do and they have been many time asked during the time of interview. Acid, वो वाला acid नहीं जो chemistry में पढ़ा था. This acid is different than that one. Okay, so acid basically stands for atomicity, consistency, isolation, durability. Now, what are these properties? So these are some basic rules you can say. Acid properties can be defined as some basic rules which has to be followed by each transaction. I have used the term transaction. So what is transaction? अब transaction क्या है? This can also be asked. एक question से दूसरा question, interviewer can put up another question from one question itself. So be ready for them as well. So transaction. Okay, I don't think that you will mind to comment this as well in the comment section that what is a transaction. So jitna aap type karoge, as much as you will write, that will be interpreted in your mind, you will be able to memorize. So comment this as well in the comment section that what do you actually understand by transaction. Okay, so yeah, let's move ahead. So basically transaction has to follow these basic rules, or we can say basic properties, which are known as acid properties. A stands for atomicity, I already described. Now, what do you understand by the term atomicity? Well, atomicity is based on a phrase, all or nothing. All or nothing. It means either we are going to execute the complete query or nothing will be done, or we are going to roll back. It means there will be no change in the state of database. So let me go through what is written here. That atomicity is more generally known as all or nothing rule, right? So it basically specifies what? That all are considered as one unit and either they will run to completion or not executed at all. Let's understand this atomicity thing with the help of a bank transaction. So for example, if you are transferring money from your account to your friend's account, so obviously if money will be deducted, you are expecting that this deducted money should be transferred to your friend's account. There should be no partial state like this ki today money has been deducted from your account. So this partial state won't be present that अभी पैसे कट गए, अब काफी दिन बाद आराम से पैसे ट्रांसफर होंगे. तो ऐसा तो नहीं है ना, अभी पैसे कटे हैं देन वो पैसे क्या होंगे, ट्रांसफर हो जाएंगे. ऐसा नहीं कि पैसे कट गए बस खत्म. So if query will be executed, then it will be executed up to the end or it won't be executed at all. So that is what atomicity means. Consistency means what? That this property refers to the uniformity of the data. It simply means that if database was consistent before executing your query, it should be basically by doing the transaction, it should be consistent even after the transaction too. Isolation means then each and every transaction should be isolated from each other. It's not like some transaction T1 is interfering in some other transaction T2. So they are isolated from each other. They are kind of separate from each other. So this property states that the number of transactions can be executed concurrently without leading to the inconsistency of the database state. Durability simply means that it will be durable. once a transaction is committed, once it is committed and it is stored in the non-volatile memory, even if the system will crash, it won't be affecting your data in the database. So that is meant by durability. So hope that is clear to you. So let's move ahead. Normalization is also a very important concept. So first normalization, then types of normalization, 1NF, 2NF, 3NF, BCNF, although there are 4NF, 5NF as well, but rarely they will ask these 1NF, 2NF, 3NF are must do, and even BCNF, you can do that as well. So first of all, what is normalization? Well, it is a kind of process that we use for reducing redundancy. Redundancy means what? Redundancy, you must be understanding that term, duplicacy of reducing redundancy and inconsistency by organizing your data into multiple tables and then establishing a relationship between these tables. So this line isn't present here. Let me add by myself, and then establishing the relationship between these tables by using foreign key or so. So normalization leads to better uses of disk spaces, and also it make it sort of easier to maintain the integrity of the database. Now, what is denormalization? The reverse of normalization. Denormalization, what? Reverse of normalization. That even it is mentioned that it is a reverse process of normalization, and it does what? It combines the tables which has been normalized in the sense which has been broken into multiple tables for reducing irregularity and inconsistency. So it does what? It combines these tables which have been normalized into a single table. So by doing that, what happened? It will support quick data retrieval, or basically data retrieval will become faster. The join operation help us to create a denormalized form of the data by reversing the normalization. So for this purpose, we do what? We do use join operation. Now join is also very important. Many times you'll be getting the question on joins. Okay, explain different type of normalization form. So this is the question that I was talking about. This is the question I was talking about. So they are 1NF, 2NF, 3NF, 4NF isn't that important, BCNF. Okay, so let me give you a sort of idea about these. Okay, there are different normalization form, that is 1NF, 2NF, 3NF, and BNF. So when we'll be saying that our relation or our table is in first normal form or in 1NF, when every attribute, or attribute you can understand it by column event, right? So when every attribute in that relation is single valued attribute, the column names should be different, and whatever the data is present in that column should be belonging to a particular domain. It's not like some random stuff has been filled here. Rest you can go through the Google itself, you can browse about the things. It's just I'm giving you a kind of idea about the things. Well, 2NF or second normal form is all about. So first of all, it should be satisfying the condition of being in 1NF, that is in first normal form. And another one thing is that the non-prime attribute or what? Non-prime attribute are what? Which is not a part of primary key or basically candidate key, whatever you refer it. Primary key or candidate key, although they are not same, although candidate key and primary key are different, we'll be letting you know further in the video. So non-prime attribute are what? Which is not a part of primary key. Attributes which are not a part of primary key. So a relation is said to be in 2NF if the non-prime attribute should not be having partial dependency. Okay, it should not be having partial dependency. So we can say a relation is in 2NF if it is having no partial dependency, or you can say partial dependency. I already explained that attributes which are not part of any candidate key is dependent on any, or we can say they are basically dependent on any proper subset of any candidate key of the table. Okay, so that is what 2NF. For 3NF, what do we have? For 3NF, the first condition is that the relation given should be in 2NF. So first and the most important condition is that it should be in 2NF. And also we'll be saying a relation to be in 3NF if and only if in every non-trivial function dependency extends to y. For example, we are having a dependency like this, extends to y. So here X should be a super key. X should be a super key, and Y should be a prime attribute. Okay, Y should be a prime attribute. Now, what do you understand by prime attribute? Prime attribute simply means the element of Y which is a part, should be a part of primary key. Okay, so that is what about 3NF. BCNF isn't much asked during the time of interview, but even if you can go through it, BCNF simply stands for Weiss code normal form. So first of all, a relation to be in BCNF, it should be in 3NF. And next is what? That a relation will be in BCNF if and only if there is a non-trivial functional dependency like as X tends to Y. So where X should be or X is a super key. X should be a super key. Then that relation will be called as to be in BCNF. Okay, so I hope that is clear for you. 1NF, 2NF, 3NF, and BCNF. Rest, if you want, you'll be getting multiple videos on the YouTube itself. You can explore them to get a proper understanding, and you'll be getting much material on the Google itself. So you can Google it, and accordingly, you can memorize the things that is easy to understand and easy to explain even. Okay, don't memorize hard definition that you are not even able to learn. And obviously, if you are not even able to learn them, how you're going to recite during the time of interview? Because if you are stammering and if you are just not able to speak properly, you are thinking, then they will come to know that you have memorized it and you are not having a proper idea. So please don't do that. Okay, now let me tell you, although I haven't mentioned here, keys are very important topic. First of all, they'll be asking you that what do you understand by keys in the database, what is their uses. Okay, so you can simply say what you are going to say, that keys are basically used to identify a tuple, okay, a tuple or a row in a database. And rest points you can add by yourself. Different types of keys are, first of all, primary key. Make sure to go through about its functionality. Like it cannot be null. Primary key cannot be null. It is used to identify each and every record in our database uniquely. Primary key, candidate key, primary key, candidate key, then super key, composite key, right? So these are some important keys that you can go through, and definitely it will be helpful for you. Now, what is a join? What do you understand by a join? So this question is also many times been asked in the interview, that what is a join? So what you can explain in that one, you can simply say a join is what it is simply used to, a join is basically used to combine data, or you can say rows or records from two or more tables based on a common field. So there should be one common thing, there should be one common field, one common attribute on the basis of which you can combine the data of two or more different tables. So one common thing should be there. Okay, and if they're going to ask you about different types of joins, so you can say inner join or right join, left join, full join. Okay, inner join, right join, left join, full join. So this is what you can explain during the time of your interview. Okay, so I hope that part is clear. Now, there can be some questions on SQL as well. SQL, first of all, what do you understand by SQL? So SQL is a, okay, so SQL stands for structured query language, which is a database language that we use to communicate with our data. So database language, okay, database language that we use to communicate with our database. So if they're asking you the questions related to that, most probably they won't be asking, but just for a, they can ask you some sort of basic functionality that we do have in database, some basic clauses like Azure clause having clause. But again, they are going to ask you about these things only if, see, they also expect a fresher should not be aware of these many things. So always before proceeding further to any particular topic, they confirm it from you whether you are having idea about databases or not. To like, even I have faced many interviews. So when the interviewer is going to ask me any question, like in the TCS itself, they confirmed whether I'm okay with that particular topic, I'm having idea. In Wipro as well, the same thing happened. So they'll be confirming you from your side. So if you are, I do mention that I'm having basics idea only, and accordingly, because if it's not like you are saying yes to everything, you have to be sort of genuine that I'm having basic idea. If they are asking about you are having idea about database, you are saying yes sir, so they can ask you anything from this particular thing. Now it's not these many questions you are having stored procedures, triggers. What I would recommend, just go to definition of these two, like they are also very much asked. So at least definition would work. You don't, it's not needed that you are having proper idea and proper explanation of these two things, but if you are having just one definition in your mind, then that would be helpful for you. So just go through the definition of triggers and stored procedures. Again, so multiple questions can be formed. It's not just there are specific, so many questions. If now you will Google, you will getting many questions for the interview itself from this particular topic, that is DBMS. So during the time of interview, if interviewer is asking, you can simply mention that I'm having basic idea. Okay, so that he'll be asking the questions accordingly, according to your level. He won't be expecting from you to be aware of many things or many complex things even, right? So this is what you can do. So this was some this video was giving you for, so this is it for this video. This was a video for helping you out towards the questions that you can most probably expect in your database topic for the TCS interview. So I hope that you have liked this video, and this video has given you sort of insight and sort of important tips that you can follow during your interview. If you have liked the video, make sure to hit the like button, drop a comment about the questions that I've asked in the video. So make sure to comment. Thank you so much for liking this video. Keep learning, guys. Keep preparing. Bye bye.